Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show, featuring Clay Hall. Clay Hall?
Yes, sir.
Man, what a weekend we had. We're going to talk about all kinds of sports. We're not going to talk just about college football, just about what's wrong with college football off the field, just about the ever-changing attempts by a lot of people to be the hero in it and bring some kind of like order and peace to the off-field situations surrounding major college sports, especially college football and a little bit of basketball. We're going to talk about the joy of being a sports fan. Like I was blessed to be by the time I was 1 or 2 years old, I do believe, I started enjoying sports. I enjoyed playing them. I enjoyed watching them. I enjoyed I've always enjoyed living vicariously through sports, putting myself into that person's shoes. What is that person thinking? I know that they're not thinking anything like what I'm thinking. Like, don't mess up. I almost said a bad word there. Don't screw up, etc.
Yeah. But
just the joy of seeing people come through in the clutch, the anguish of seeing someone not quite come through, and then the joy of seeing someone thinking she didn't come through, but she did.
But she did.
Nelly Korda.
Yeah.
Crazy sports weekend, in my opinion, that really had only two, I guess. I guess the U.S. Women's Open is a major.
Yeah.
As far as female golfers, women golfers are concerned, it's not way up there on the calendar in a lot of people's minds about must-see television.
Right.
But the bottom line is, what a finish for Nelly Korda. But the Memorial Tournament, whether you were out there and slogging back and forth with Ryan Gerard and JT Poston as they played 2 holes of sudden death. Are you kidding me?
I thought it was never going to end.
And finally deciding the 51st winner, or the winner of the 51st tournament. Wouldn't be the 51st winner because there have been several multiple winners. Even Jack Nicklaus won it a few times, a couple of times. Tiger Woods won it 5 times. But the bottom line is, what a finish to that tournament. The last 9 holes of regulation, as I would like to call it, were impeccable in terms of the drama involved, and you can't make it up. And it looked like somebody was writing a script. Let's put this guy in the lead right now and see what happens. Tommy Fleetwood. And then boom.
And then flip it.
The script flip. It was a flipped script.
Yeah.
Back and forth the entire, really, the last 5 holes especially was crazy because at one point there were 5. I almost held up 4 because I can't count. 5 guys tied at minus 11.
And you know what I thought at that point?
What?
That all my TV friends would be like, oh my gosh, this thing's not going to end.
Oh, yeah. Before 6.
8:15 or something.
Yeah.
Especially
before 6, right? And 6, the witching hour for you guys.
No doubt about it. Yeah. And you're always, on pins and needles, ready to run all that stuff down to the 18th for the presentation.
I'm not saying I don't have a life, but on Saturday and Sunday, I'm sitting there watching the Memorial Tournament at home on my television because I'm telling you, I like being there. I'm going to the U.S. Open next week as a volunteer. And what I do is I work my volunteer shift early in the morning and I watch a little golf and I go back to the hotel or wherever I'm staying, Airbnb.
Yeah.
And the word verbo's never coming out of my mouth again, but that's got its own.
That's another story.
Yeah. Whatever. Thought I had a reservation locked in a year ago for this coming week. And all of a sudden the person who owned the place act like it came out of, I'd already paid for it and everything. And where did this come from? So,
oh my goodness.
You had
to
you have to back me into I got fixed up pretty nice. Matter of fact, I got a cheaper place and in my opinion, a better place, a much better place. But that's by luck, but by going on Airbnb finally. And
did you get a refund?
Oh yeah, I got my refund.
Okay.
You always get your refund before you gripe about it. There was another service involved too that I'm not going to gripe. I'm going to tell you about until the refund is finally finished, but it's coming through. But the same thing happened. Wait a minute. Okay, we can, after I've paid for it, okay, we can keep you through Friday night, but through Thursday night, but Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday, you got to find your own another place, even though I paid for the whole week.
What?
Yeah. But we fixed that. We ironed that out. And I got a much cheaper place in a much better situation and a much better looking place. I don't know how that happens, but that's called serendipity. See, when you look at A, B, and C, it led to C, serendipity.
Well, that's
although
also
serendipity starts with an S.
That's also called a savvy traveler who's used to booking.
No, I hate that stuff. I mean, I hate it because, dude, when I make reservations somewhere, then I start looking up the rest of my trip's going to go like this. I'm going to eat here. On Monday night, I'm going to eat here on Tuesday night. If I really like one of those two places, I might eat there again on Wednesday night. Just right down the line. I try to make it a wide-ranging trip. But
yes.
But like I've told everybody before, the main thing I like about going to these U.S. Opens as a volunteer is I'm going to golf courses I've never been on, never seen, always wanted to see. Shinnecock Hills is one of those, and it promises to be a brouhaha, in my opinion. I think it's just like, to a certain extent, it's a little bit like Oakmont was last year. There are hardly any trees anywhere. There used to be trees all over Oakmont, but there's like one oak tree left, I think, inside the actual golf course out of bounds lines. I think there's one oak tree left in Oakmont.
That's a crying shame.
But there are oak trees up on top of the Mont, where the clubhouse is. So Oakmont.
Yeah.
But I digress. Bottom line is, but yes, let's just start with the last things first. Nelly Korda, looking for her first U.S. Open victory. She's won a few majors, but never a U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And dude, she was up. All she had to do, I forgot the exact. Wait, I was setting up something else with that whole rum around. There we go. I'll just make up a word to get me out of that hole. Kind of like rock climbing in a truck, 4-wheel drive truck.
Okay.
You just make up a move.
Yeah.
No, just Nelly Korda. She needed that putt to avoid going to a playoff.
Right.
Yeah. And what was it? 4 feet? 3.5 feet, 4 feet.
I navigated over there a couple of times, but
anyway, the last putt, her last putt went around and down.
Okay.
Boom. She's the hero. She's the hero of the story. That's golf in a nutshell for you. You've busted your rear end to finally get that moment in your life, but it's never over till the ball goes in the hole.
Clunk.
And you couldn't have made it more dramatic than hers, because I think she thought she had missed it, and it went down, and it went down with a lot of velocity. Usually when it goes it goes halfway around and comes straight back at you, like like Jonah getting spit out of the whale or whatever it was.
It was a whale.
Did he get spit out or did he climb out? I can't remember.
He was spit out, I think.
What does biblical lore teach us in that regard?
Yeah.
But I digress. Bottom line is, Nelly Korda, congratulations. I mean, dude, no matter what, I always like to watch sporting events. I got to cover several sporting events when I was at the Dispatch, and people would go, why would you go cover that? That's not Major League, or that's not the Super Bowl or the World Series or something. And man, when there's something on the line, it's cool watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of the funnest things I did was a couple of years I covered the girls softball tournament up in Akron. The girls high school softball tournament.
I heard you guys talking about it this morning.
I totally enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're going to talk about in a minute, every pitch mattered.
Yeah.
Every play mattered. And when you get to that point, every game has its moment of truth, no matter what it is. And I totally enjoyed that. Just like I like covering a little bit of lacrosse way back in the day, high school lacrosse, because guys are playing for I like covering Ohio State's men's lacrosse team a few times, Coach Meyer.
Yep.
I mean, Coach Myers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Myers.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, Nick Myers.
Nick Myers.
Yeah.
And Pat Myers.
But the bottom line is,
brothers.
Yeah, watching them play in a playoff atmosphere was fun, no matter whether they won or not. You knew something was up for grabs. And
it's
right on down the line, I can name you a bunch of I covered the National Putt-Putt. I think it was the World Putt-Putt Championships in Columbus back in the late 70s.
Really?
Columbus had these 3 or 4 really spiffy, modern back then putt-putt courses.
Okay.
That were clearly franchises, but they hosted the I think it was the World Championship like 2 or 3 years in a row, and I got to cover it. And dude, you miss one putt.
Yeah.
It's kind of like big time golf, except everybody makes fun of it, except the putting is for real. And
have you covered that PBA tournament?
Oh yeah. I volunteered to do it.
What's the name of that venue?
Well, it was the Palace. Well, the Palace at one point, but then the one over in North Columbus, the North Columbus neighborhood.
I'm thinking of the one that was down by Cooper Stadium, I think.
No, it was down on South High Street. Okay. On South High Street. Right. That was another one. Okay. But no, this the one they played in up for many years. And I'll think of it when we're done talking. This is the way it goes right now. Yeah. But it was like a Fenway Park of bowling alleys. Wow. And it was cool. And you're going, the PBA is here in Columbus. This is where they're rolling. And then they moved to on South High Street and covered that many years. I covered that one time with the flu. I probably shouldn't have been there because I probably gave a bunch of people the flu. But I just felt like if you're covering something, you have to finish the job no matter how sick you are. That's it. Anyway, that's really stupid thinking back on it in all kinds of ways. I'm just thinking of Kyle Busch right now. But the bottom line is I totally enjoyed it. Everybody goes, why are you doing? I said the best bowlers in the entire world are in Columbus, Ohio, playing for a championship.
Yep.
Doesn't that mean something to you?
Yeah.
Where else were you going to go in Columbus on that particular weekend and see the best in the world competing for something, right?
What was Weber's name? Pete
Weber.
Yeah. Very
Chris Weber was the timeout guy.
Right. Very boisterous and about himself.
By the way, Chris Weber could have covered his
No, I'm talking about Pete.
Chris Weber could have covered his bases by doing a Kirby Smart and saying, I was applauding. Yeah. I was clapping. No, we saw what you were doing. You're calling timeout. Yeah, but I got way off track there. What I was leading up to is on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, my buddy over here is a huge Mississippi State baseball fan. Well, I guess he's a huge Mississippi State fan, but it's mainly baseball because that's where good things have happened for him being a Mississippi State fan.
There you go.
With the exception of a little bit of women's basketball back before that coach moved to Texas A&M. Matter of fact, he coached them here. Remember Mississippi State when they played here?
Gosh, don't. I even women. I had two of my kids there, and they said, "No wonder you're always bummed out because Notre Dame point guard, shooting guard made a shot out of the corner, three, incredible."
Yep.
Anyway,
I was there. I helped cover it.
Yep. They were in the Final Four, I think, 2 years.
Exactly, and then that coach moved to Texas A&M, right?
Vic Schaefer.
Yeah. Really good coach. And he knew where Lufkin was. That's what I liked about him.
Heck yeah.
But anyway, so all of a sudden, I don't know if you're watching or not, but I'm watching the memorial, and then I flip over to Mississippi State versus Georgia because we talked about that just off the air. You and I had about what a big game it was.
2 days running.
Matter of fact, you had even talked to Justin Thomas about it when you were out at the memorial that one day.
Yeah.
And here it is. It's a 1-run game, on Saturday. The first game of the series, first game of the best of 3 super regional at Georgia.
That thing went.
Yeah.
No,
and we're texting back and forth.
No,
we're texting back and forth there from glee to anguish, for you and stuff. And then boom.
Even worse.
And boom. Sunday afternoon, deja vu, as the old saying goes, all over again. You're out doing yard work, and I'm texting you saying, Are you watching this?
Yeah.
And as you pointed out to me, Mississippi State was the home team for that second game, even though all three, if they needed 3, were going to be played at Georgia. It's like it's called a super regional, but you don't lose your rotation as a home team. And boom, what is it? The kid hits the home run.
2-run jack, yeah.
2-run jack to put Mississippi State ahead.
His second of the game. He's a freshman.
Then what? Then Georgia comes back and ties it.
They get it. I think it was Trey Phelps who was suspended for the first game. Anyway, the man in blue, in my opinion, started squeezing the plate. Nope, not going to give you that. Nope. Do you see the really bad one that was featured on many social medias when Jacob Parker, who hit 2 home runs, checked his swing?
Yeah.
And everybody said, oh, no, he didn't. The ump called it a strike. And they said, no, he didn't blow the call. The bat never got to the front hit anyway. It was absolutely crazy.
Finish your sentences. The bat never got to where?
It never got to the point where he
went over the plate.
was making a legitimate swing.
Yeah, an legitimate swing.
Between the Phelps getting a walk, it was brutal. He gets to first. There was a pass ball or a wild pitch, as I recall. At any rate, he gets to second in scoring position, and they get the run to tie. And I'm saying he was struck out, one down. Let's see what happens from there. Anyway, Mississippi State was within 6 outs of winning the first game.
That's what I texted you. I said, 6 outs, man.
Within 3 outs.
That's what I texted you.
Game.
Can you get 3 outs?
Couldn't do it.
Can you get 3 outs?
And
instead?
you nailed it. They have no bullpen.
No.
And they thought they did because they had a freshman who could throw 100 miles an hour. He struck. Oh, my gosh.
If you're looking for beef, if you're looking for meat on the hoof today,
pretty good line.
Don't go to Starkville, Mississippi. There is no bullpen. That's what I was basically texting you, whatever I was doing to you. Yeah. But it just what's amazing to me, what I was getting to here is same thing. You live and die with Ohio State baseball this year. Similar kind of situations, but what a turnaround for that team from one year to the next under Justin Hare.
No doubt.
But every pitch matters. And I tell people all the time, I'm not a baseball fan. What I'm not a fan of definitely is covering the Cleveland Indians in the mid-'80s. That soured me on baseball.
Yeah.
Because that was a horrible team in a horrible stadium, the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium.
And there's no time clock.
As I said, if Jim Brown and Bob Feller hadn't played there, you wouldn't have given a damn about that stadium. But I digress. Every pitch matters. Like you said, if you should have gotten a strike and it's changed to a ball or vice versa, it changes the dynamic of the at-bat. It changes the dynamic, really, of the season. But what got me was several guys stepping up in the clutch home runs. They were hitting that series. It was home run derby. But then the freshman kid steps up there. He's already hit 2 home runs. He's Mississippi State's last chance.
Jacob Parker.
And he got caught on a nasty pitch. And the great thing is the analyst said, you know what, this guy can't lay off high letter high fastballs. He can't lay off of them. As I like to say,
that's common for a lot of guys.
When I used to help coach one of my son's little league teams, I say if it's at your eye, it's too high. If it's at your eye, it's too high. Lay off, because you can't lay off it when it's right there.
No, that's the problem.
And boom, struck him out. Two straight fastballs, 2 straight swings, 2 straight fastballs just above the letters. Couldn't lay off them. And that guy had been the hero up to that moment. And he was still the hero, Mike, because they're not even in that situation if a kid hadn't hit those 2 home runs.
No, game's over.
But what a ball player, and he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
And his brother's in the major leagues.
Yeah, he's going to be in the major leagues too, because this guy has a great attitude, a perpetual smile, smirk, almost like Victor Hovland. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
He soaked up that tour around the bases.
Oh, yeah.
After the 2-run
jack.
Yeah,
should have.
Made it Bulldogs 9.
But then they couldn't.
Georgia Bulldogs 8.
Then they couldn't get out. Mm-mm. They couldn't get 3 outs. 3 outs. Seems like the easiest thing to do in sport. 3 outs. But I digress. Then we go to the Memorial Tournament. Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm saying all this because, in my opinion, nothing of repute happened in terms of Ohio State football all weekend. Maybe it did, but I didn't care. Except Buckeyes were at the Memorial Tournament. True, now these guys, this is what's so cool about modern day major college sports is that you can be at the Memorial Tournament as a Buckeye. You can be paid to be at the Memorial Tournament as a Buckeye by a sponsor if they so willing, or they can furnish you tickets to be at the Memorial Tournament without any repercussions. You can be a celebrity. Just like when I went to see Julian Sayin a couple of weeks ago, whenever that was, and he was doing a thing for Panini, those cards and stickers and that whole thing in promotion of the World Cup, which I guess starts this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ecuador working out in Columbus, Ohio, the Ecuadorian team.
Yeah.
By the way, did the U.S. team decide to go to Toronto to work out? No, I'm just messing. And by the way, for Ecuador, that's kind of a big deal because, I'm not sure if they're HQ'd in Quito, but Quito's at altitude, and And Columbus, of
Not
course,
the problem.
Columbus really, for drag racing fans of normally aspirated engines, Columbus is considered at altitude at like around roughly 900 to 1,000 feet above sea level. So even remember Jeg Coughlin and those Jeg Coughlin, whatever how you say his last name, I always said it wrong whenever I was around them. But they would have to adjust. Any normally aspirated engines had to adjust to the sea level difference between sucking in all the air that could be available at sea level and the starting to be thinning air at 900 to 1,000 feet. But I can see what they're doing there, because I'm trying to remember, are they playing any World Cup games in Denver or any place like that? I don't know.
It seems like
I could easily look it up on my computer right here, right now, but I'm not going to.
I'm logged off.
But the bottom line is, I'll look that up as we go once you make a salient long point here in a minute. But it's kind of cool that they're in town, right? Plying their trade.
Crazy.
I digressed into that. But the bottom line is you kind of like we're off of anything major happening in terms of really the Buckeyes, as far as the Buckeyes were concerned over the weekend, at least, except for official visits. And believe me, I got over that thing a long time ago, man. So-and-so said he had a great visit. It was like a family atmosphere. And then the next week he goes to Georgia. So-and-so said he had a great visit. Said it was like a family atmosphere. People pay to read that.
Yeah, they do.
What do you think about that, Clay?
Well, it's just it's a rerun that.
Then he goes to Mississippi State. So-and-so said he had a great time. It was like, oh man, it was like being at home. It was like a family atmosphere.
The barbecue was incredible.
Except there was no beef in town because they have no bullpen.
Oh, they got some nice eateries in that small little hamlet.
I said no beef in town. I didn't say he couldn't eat there. By the way, what do they put in Euro meat when they don't have beef? What is Euro meat? It's like lamb.
Yeah, that's it.
Beef.
That's it.
Lamb, beef.
I love a good
chicken.
Euro.
Or,
there are.
I know there's no ham in it.
You can get it. You can get a chicken Euro. I might have to get one after this show.
Anyway,
now that you brought it up,
dude.
Yes, sir.
5 guys tied at 11 under, and then Tommy Fleetwood with that. What was that? An eagle, where he jumped from 10,
vaulted to the
10 to 12 over. 10 to 12 under.
Yeah, and
took the lead over those other guys, and then of course he faltered down the stretch. But let's just zero in. I watched Sam Burns last year because I covered. I was at the U.S. Open, going to my 5th straight one this year. But I followed him, and I was trying to watch between him and J.J. Spawn, and then they had their big rain delay, and then Sam Burns got really screwed on a call where he should have gotten relief from standing water, because if you put your foot on the ground, water came up where his ball was, and he had a kind of a poor shot out of that. Now, I couldn't see that where I was, but I saw it later, but I knew there was conjecture because there was an official there and all this kind of stuff.
You're talking about.
But my point was Sam Burns has been right there, man.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him compete. His game's in pretty damn good shape, except for his wedge game could use a little bit of help. If he'd hit about 2 more wedges a little more crisply on Sunday, he would have won that thing maybe about 2 or 3 strokes, because JT Poston started to falter in the back 9, had 2 straight bogeys. And boy, that little kind of shot he hit, I think it was on 12, when he was kind of trying to recover from a previous bad tee shot. I just said, oh no, the doors have come off along with the wheels. Ugh. In other words, he's in a jalopy riding on the rims. And so forget about him. Let's focus on these other people. Who's going to win this thing?
No, but
he got his act together.
You were watching so closely, shot by shot, and you dragged me, and I was torn with this other thing. And though I'd been to the memorial a couple times,
you were still crying.
Week, yeah, I was transfixed on this baseball thing. But you're right. The drama that unfolded on 17 and 18 late, and then the playoff was must see.
Yeah, and here's the bottom line. The reason I'm dovetailing this back to Nelly Korda.
Okay.
Final analysis. I always say this, and I get I'm on Cleveland radio a little bit. They talk to me sometimes before big tournaments and stuff, and other things, along with being on with Bo, every Friday on 97.1 The Fan. And occasionally getting to guest host, occasionally, very occasionally. But the bottom line is, I always say, golf is pretty simple. Final analysis. Who puts it in the hole faster than the other guy? Mm-hmm. And that means finally you got to make a putt. Nelly Korda had a 2.5, 3-footer and almost missed it for the win she really wanted the most, U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But it went round and down. Was that at 18? Yeah, it was at 18. It was the last hole of the tournament. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you. Yeah, it was at 18, the last hole of the tournament.
So that's why the drama was so high.
Yeah. Maybe we can cut out me snapping at you and just go with that.
No, that's fine.
But the bottom line is, here's Ryan Gerard and JT Poston. You're thinking, well, one of these more well-known players, I guess is what I would call it, like Sam Burns or
Rory McIlroy.
No, Rory McIlroy. He was probably halfway back to his home.
Yeah.
At that point, unless he was flying to.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Unless he was flying to Canada, playing the Canadian Open, which is this week, or flying to Shinnecock. I'm not sure they're letting players on Shinnecock.
In advance.
I know that some of the people working in the volunteer realm on Sunday, you're not allowed to go out and walk on the course and everything. So I would think that keeps anybody from playing it on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Then on Monday, they'll have practice rounds, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But anyway, especially Sam Burns, because a lot of Sam Burns, when he got that luck of the ball sitting there on that cushioned walkway, little cushioned, 3-lane, 2x12 or 2x12 bridge across the creek or the ditch there, when the ball came to rest right on that thing and he had to hit a shot off of it, I thought that was his saving grace. Even though he didn't make the comeback putt, I thought he was going to figure out a way to steal it all on the 18th hole, and it didn't work because he didn't make a great approach and then didn't make a putt. So all these things lined up for Gerard and JT Poston, two guys from North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, to end up in a two-man playoff.
Yeah.
Gerard, and they both hit really nice tee shots on the first hole of sudden death. And they both hit approaches that were trying to remember.
Were they like
they both hit approaches. I'm getting the shots mixed up in my head here now.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, Gerard makes a putt for par. That's about a 5.5, 6-footer. And Poston misses about a 12-footer.
Right.
So they go and play it again. And then they both hit balls into the rough. And then they both hit, in my opinion, miraculous second shots to be on the green, both putting. And it finally came down to a par putt.
I don't remember.
Because both missed their leg putts. That's why they're leg putts, because they both missed them.
I covered that thing for 30 years. I don't recall them going 18-18. That's what they did, correct?
Yeah, yes.
It used
they
to
were going to play 18 over and over until somebody won.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Well, they've changed that.
Well, maybe, yeah, but the point is that makes the most sense because that's where the crowd is. That's where the crowd is at that point in a golf tournament. That's where it is congregated. So you don't want people trying to run all the way back to 17 or 15.
One year it was 18-10.
Well, 10's right.
And
yeah.
10 going way up the hill.
Well, they probably went 10 and they were going to come back on 18 then, I would think. Yeah. But the point is, make it easier for the crowd, because you can always put two golfers in their caddies in a cart and take them back to the 18th tee. That makes it easier on everybody.
It does.
But the bottom line is they both had similar, identical putts, and on the second hole of playoff, and Gerard pushes his just right. Poston makes his.
Yes.
And his wife comes out with looks like a 2-year-old daughter and looked like about a 2 or 3 month old daughter.
A 6-day daughter.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It reminds me of my baby granddaughter is turning 4 months old
she had her
later this week. And I'm just going, oh my God, talk about your hands full. But man, what a joyous moment. Yeah. And everybody's going, well, a big name didn't win it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when Kenny Perry won it. Oh, well, Kenny Perry won it. Kenny Perry won it what?
Kenny Perry.
Twice at least, right?
But so many people felt good for him.
Of course they did.
He was always in contention.
Plus, he liked auto racing. That's what I like about Kenny Perry.
He's a Kentuckian.
Yeah. Plus, if you go, I think if you're coming north from Nashville, you go by where it says the Kenny Perry Golf Course exit,
Oh, yeah.
on, was that I-65? I don't know if there's a buck, if that's near where the Buc-ee's is now or not. But
I was always on 71, so I don't know. But
no, not coming from Nashville. You're not.
No. I would be.
You'd be taking 65 up and hit 71 in Louisville. Let's don't get people mixed up with their interstate highways. We cause enough damage the way it is. But the bottom line is, but that's what it comes down. It comes down to making your putts, man. And what's cool about golf these days, and not cool, because everybody knows me, knows I like Bryson DeChambeau. He's probably my favorite golfer right now, for all kinds of reasons. I really like watching him on YouTube, but I followed him his final round at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst when he won and pulled off that miracle, the miracle on 18 when Rory missed that putt, and Bryson, following behind, did not miss his after getting there by some ridiculous way of hitting the ball into the left rough, hitting a tree root as he hits out. It goes into a trap and then hits a trap shot from, what was that, 50 or 60 yards up about 5 feet away, and then makes the putt.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Up and down from, from 60.
Classic 4. Woo. Routine par. But the bottom line is, there comes a moment in your life that separates you from this person and puts you into, not immortality is not the right term, but puts you in legendary status, is when you make one putt. And that's what JT Poston did on Sunday. And it was a memorial tournament to remember, infamously, for the ridiculous storm that hit the place on Sunday afternoon. I took my daughter to the airport and was coming back, and I went, man, I hope that's not hitting my house, because I live out west of Hilliard, west of Hilliard. And I could say, no, it's not. But, man, it has definitely got to hit Muirfield Village. You could see how this thing just grew up out of nowhere. Boom. And, wow, hail, lightning, high winds, not destroyed,
TV
blew
tower
down a bunch of stuff, including a TV tower, a bunch of the hospitality-type tents and things like that. I'm surprised no one was injured.
Well, even Saturday. You're talking about Sunday?
I'm talking about Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Let me finish. But then I get a phone call from my daughter, who is now not getting on her flight to Charlotte because they were first trying to leave fast so they could beat the storm. Then they didn't beat the storm, and she didn't feel right about it.
Yeah.
So I went all the way back to the airport, picked her up, came back to our house. She'd been visiting for a week. And then I'm just going, I'm watching some like Adam King and some other people posting some photos from the place on video, and showed some things that were down. I went, wow, they'll be lucky to get this place in shape. Right. And then they announced a schedule. They're going to restart at 7:30 in the morning. And I went, no way. But you talk about people stepping up.
Chad Mark.
Bingo. And everybody below him.
There you go.
Or beside him. Your boy Dan Sullivan. I'm sure he got in there and was moving some things around. Appreciate him coming on our show last week, Monday or a week ago, talking about the tournament. And those were the true heroes of the weekend, because the next morning,
that could have been.
It looked like opening day. We're going to make this as nice looking as we can make it.
It's Thursday, round 1.
The TV tower was back up, right on down the line. And except for the greens looking a little bit more receptive, but not really. Wow. And so, yes, hero, name his name again.
Chad Mark, 10 years, a decade, superintendent at Muirfield Village.
Wow. Can you imagine just the logistically logical way a guy like him has to think through to get that place back to where it was, including working all night. But then A has to follow, B has to follow A, C has to follow B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
You're right.
They probably got the double figures on the letters. They probably went to A, B, B, C, C. The rows you don't want to get tickets for at a football stadium.
That's like deploying a battalion.
Oh yeah, an army.
Yeah. Hey,
Corps of Engineers.
Which hole are we going to start first? Well, here's what we're going to do.
The Corps of Engineers.
That's incredible.
The way they come in all looking like they've rehearsed this 50 times. They probably the only time in their life they'll ever do something like that. So
I want one of those things that cuts. You know how they gotta sling it? I don't even know.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What?
No, yesterday there were 6 of them, and they were like smoothing off a little ridge on a hole. You haven't seen those?
Yeah.
I
don't
know
think what you're talking about.
But anyway,
I'm with you.
I want one of those.
Well, the great thing about it is once you were seeing that the shots of the holes and stuff, as I like to say when I go to these U.S. Open courses, I think fondant is the right term, but it's like like you ever watch the cake baking shows and stuff like that, but they have this fondant where there's basically icing that you take and you put on top of the cake and you smooth it down over instead of going like this with it.
Okay.
You smooth it down over the thing. That's what these big time golf courses looks like. Somebody's put green fondant down in different shades on the golf course, smoothed it down like around, like you said, the water holes instead of like dandelions popping up all over the place like the courses you and I play. It looks like it, and it looked like that, immaculate. And then JT Poston, man, he was down and out. I gave up on him after second straight bogey on the back nine.
That was at 13?
I think it was 13.
Okay.
And I just went, okay, he has lost that edge.
Yeah.
As a Iceman or, a Cougar in Maverick. Mm-hmm. He's lost the edge. He's holding on too tight. Man, did he bounce back. Unbelievable. You learn what a person is made of, man. We watched what JT Poston is made of right there.
And the thing I heard him say 3 times, I just kept thinking about that handshake with Jack, that I was going to be that guy. And
but you know what?
And you saw him rally.
Ryan Gerard was probably thinking the exact same thought.
That's right.
I am now going to get that hand. When he made that, what was it, 38-foot putt on 17?
I saw that.
Ryan Gerard, I went, uh-oh, now this guy's got it.
Right.
Except your question then was, but wait a minute, that was a 37-foot putt, not a 10-footer, meaning his putter saved the day on 17, but could have saved the day on 18, 19, and 20.
From a much
It kind of did. It kind of did with a short comebacker. Well, short, 6-7 feet, trying to win a tournament is not anything routine. But finally, JT Poston's the one who, with just, a couple of really good shots, wins the tournament. And now, at least in Columbus golfing lore, greater Columbus golfing lore, he's one of those heroes, man.
And,
his name's in the record book.
And I heard you saying, mimicking fans going, oh, it wasn't a big name. That kid put his name, it's his 4th win. And that dude he built some resume on Sunday.
Yeah.
And now he will be a name that people know because he won at Jack's place.
Yep.
And
Rory McIlroy was in the field, couldn't make putts when he needed, his putter really let him down, or his putting. His putter's probably okay, but his putting let him down.
What about Scotty?
Scotty Scheffler was it was like watching a guy. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these guys, or my dad was this guy. Mm-hmm. His car would get going, and all of a sudden it would kind of break down the side of the road. You'd get out of the hood and fix it, and then we'd get going again. His little Studebaker, 56 Studebaker Flight Hawk.
56.
And we'd get going on. We'd get going again. That was the only car my dad ever bought brand new. Okay. And he had it until like the 1980s. Matter of fact, later than that. But my point was, he'd fix it, and we'd get going again. That's kind of like what Scotty Scheffler looked like.
Birdied 3 of the last 5 or whatever.
But he looked like a guy that just when he got it going, his car would break down. Scheffler did. And he'd have to fix it. And they could never get consistency on a continual, I'm going to win this tournament basis. And he was right there, in Scotty Scheffler fashion. He was right there to make a run and scare the hell out of everybody else to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Here comes the locomotive. But instead, it turned out to be a 56 Studebaker Flight Hawk. They needed some work under the hood. Flathead 6, man. I used to help my dad, helped him overhaul that engine twice. That's where I learned about working on stuff like that. I enjoyed overhauling my Kawasaki engine on my zero turn last year. I didn't enjoy it, but then when I got into it, I enjoyed it because it brought flashbacks to working with my dad on cars and stuff. But I digress. I had to replace a couple of bent push rods. Golly, and they look like they weren't even as thick as pencils. Why is that in an engine that will create 24 horsepower? Why do you have push rods that are about that big around? but I digress. Bottom line is, what a tournament.
Yeah.
And what fun it was to watch that tournament. And I watched the IndyCar race late last night. Didn't start till after 9 o'clock. Then had a rain delay, and ended up Joseph Newgarden, who got hurt in a crash at Indy a couple of weeks ago, ends up winning the race. I had picked him with our buddy Tim Ham. Tim IndyCar. Is it Tim IndyCar Ham or IndyCar Tim Ham? The producer for our show back in Dallas, who produces our show here. Bottom line is I said, well, I think I have a feeling Newgarden's going to win it. This was like on Friday. He goes, I hope not. I don't like that guy. And I said, well, okay, then I'll go with David Malukas, who is his teammate who had that much of a shot of winning the Indianapolis 500. And come to find out, both of them were contenders. But then Newgarden at the end beats Marcus Ericsson, who probably by all accounts should have won that race. He drove a hell of a race. But one time Indy 500 winner, but Joseph Newgarden, who's won 2 Indy 500s, finds a way at the end. And, Penske with their patented oval setups was right there and wins the race. And then Denny Hamlin at Michigan. Wow. Denny Hamlin's got it going on, man. And kind of like I don't know if it's rebirth, but I mean, he's driving on another level right now. And by that, I mean, he's got a race car that's on another level. And the Toyota is getting it done. So fun to see that happen because just when you think an old guy doesn't have any more lead in his foot.
Tricks up the sleeve.
Yeah, tricks up his sleeve, more like lead in his foot because his approach now is go out, get in front and stay there. Forget about all this maneuvering, saving gas, all that kind of baloney. He just wants to get out front and beat you. And wow, did he do that on Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. My favorite race up there always was the IndyCar race, and they don't run there, haven't run there for a while now. But man, you think Indianapolis Motor Speedway was fast for IndyCars? Michigan was always was faster. Then along came Fontana, California Speedway, and it was I think slightly higher bank track than Michigan, I think, but it was basically its carbon copy brother, and they ran faster at California for a while, but they had a couple of horrendous wrecks in IndyCar there, including the wreck that killed Greg Moore. And for some reason or other, man, after someone passes away, except for Indianapolis, someone passes away, these places kind of lose their luster a little bit with fans because the first thing you do is slow them down. You got to slow them down because a car has gone somewhere it's never been before at that speed. It's hit something it's never hit before at that rate, and you got to protect the drivers because believe me, if you put 10,000 horsepower in an Indy car, all 25 drivers in that field today would drive it.
Sure they would.
And as long as nothing pops, as long as nothing breaks, and as long as two guys don't run into each other, they'll do it. It looks fun. But as soon as something happens at speed, man, that's when relativity takes over, and you find out how much faster when you're going 220 and the guy next to you is going 222, it looks like this, and the guy goes by you. But when you're going 220 and something happens and you're spinning toward a wall is going 0, that's when you find out about the theory of relativity, which means you're going a hell of a lot faster than the wall is when you hit it.
Channel 6 should have brought you over to be an analyst on, because there was a time there when I first got here and I knew nothing about Indy racing, hardly. And
I did that stuff for Channel 10 and on for big races and stuff. Yeah. Especially when Ray Hall had his team in town and Tasman was in town under Steve Horn. And now with Mike Shank, I remember I was on after the Indy 500 this year, even though I didn't go to it, which is, wow. I still pinching myself that I didn't actually go to the Indy. Oh, no, there were all kinds of guys over there trying to get me, trying to talk to me, guys I've worked with, people at the track, officials.
Right.
Because they missed me for some reason.
Sure they did.
One of the few places that missed me. And, you like I said, you try to retire, but you don't. And then you try to retire, and then you kind of take.
And then you don't.
You whack a limb off the tree.
Yeah.
Instead of cutting the whole tree down.
Right.
And then, boy, you miss that limb. That's where that cute little tire swing was hanging off that limb, and I still love IndyCar. I'm not going to say I don't love it. I love F1, but F1, man, folks, if you didn't get an idea before we hang up here, if you didn't get an idea why, I've always said this, if F1 was as it is today, and Monaco did not have a race and went on bended knee because, they're royals. They're used to the bended knee of people genuflecting to them. But if you genuflected in front of the officials of Formula One and said, we would like to run this nice race on the streets of Monaco. Look how it's going to go. And look, it's only going to be that wide, but that's okay. We're going to go through a tunnel and then come out the other end going about 185 miles an hour and then go into a left-hand turn, but it's going to be okay. We're going to have very little area to run off if something bad happens, but it's going to be okay. If Formula One would laugh at you, we're not going to run are you kidding me? Get out of here with that mess. But it's considered one of the crown jewels of Formula One because it's been around since, 1950? I think it may be the longest continually running Formula One race at a certain venue. Spa-Francorchamps, my favorite track in Belgium.
Say that again.
Spa-Francorchamps. It's in Belgium. That's my favorite track because it tests everything about a race car and a race driver, his mettle, and the speed of the car and the ability to corner slow and fast. Sweeper turns, man. But the bottom line is, if you came to F1 right now with Monaco, I'm sure they would have to laugh at you. Like, we can't run. There'll be too many wrecks. The race will take too long. You can make just one brief burp of a mistake and you're done.
But they approved it many, many, many years ago.
Yeah, it was in the resurgence of Formula One after World War II. It's the one that has endured, and because the prince made it happen. Prince Rainier, married to Grace Kelly. You remember all about that.
Yeah.
But they made it happen. But now these days they would laugh at you. Go, get out of here. We're going to go race at Baku, which, by the way, I like that track. But it has a couple of moments in that track. I mean, but anyway, I'm not going to get on that. I would go for a minute, and people have already hung up anyway. But anyway, anything else happened to you over the weekend you want to talk about? You actually went to the memorial service today.
Yeah.
For Ted Wolford, the suddenly passed away lacrosse coaching legend from Upper Arlington. He was 66 years old. By the way, was he taken by a heart attack?
No, it was. Many understand it to be a MRSA type infection. That
he let go.
And I don't know if that's been documented, but that seems to be the.
I'm not going to say he let go, but Kyle Busch, with
sepsis
from double pneumonia.
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
Let me tell you, I met.
That's hard. That's hard to hear.
One brother and a sister and a nephew, and the nephew came up to me and he said, Tim, many people complimented what we aired.
Really?
I mean, it had to be 15 people.
It was you, baby.
He said it was just so nice what you and Tim said about Coach Wolford.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy gets the award for coming the furthest from Vietnam. He's a nephew. And I said,
wow.
Well, son, how long does it take you to get from Vietnam? 26 hours, sir. And
military? Is he military?
No, he's teaching English in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And it just was, he said, I would be no other place. And all the Wolfords look, I mean, you're a Wolford. I get it.
Yeah.
But
gotcha.
he was just so joyous. And he said to me, I played that interview and your podcast for people all around the globe.
Yeah.
He has friends who do the same thing in other countries, and they knew him as well. And, he's got the Wolford name. So,
yeah, great.
Sometimes
great work by you, by the way. Great work.
Sometimes you just don't know how far reaching this medium can be.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, it was
I'm just glad to hear we're international.
International.
So when I go that around the world, it actually
means it.
We have proof, but no, I appreciate the compliment from that guy on our show. But
you got
but
it.
Then number two, I totally appreciated your efforts. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I think I covered a lacrosse game one time, a playoff game or something, and I interviewed Ted Wolford maybe after the game.
Yeah.
Can't tell you where or when. I would keep thinking it was at Dublin Jerome for some reason in a state either tournament or playoff game.
Could that have been 07?
Might have been.
Judd Hall was in goal against Hudson, playing Hudson at Jerome.
Might have been.
Could have been.
But my point is, it was a surprise to me when he passed away, not a shock, because I was trying to remember how I knew this guy.
Right.
And then you put two and two together and realize my son and his family live straight across the street on Guilford from the Jones Middle School. Used to be Upper Arlington High School. Jones Middle School football stadium.
That's where Nicholas went to high school.
Bingo. And there's a softball field right there also, which my son always sits out in his front yard when they're playing there, trying to make sure he catches whatever ball's about to hit his windshield.
Oh my.
Yeah. But I digress. But the bottom line is, by the way, I love my son and his family so much.
Yeah.
And my 3 grandkids. But I digress. Bottom line, I was just thinking about him.
There you go.
No, dude, they're playing youth sports now. 1-7. My 2 boys, one grandson's 1-7, one's 4. My granddaughter's going to be 4 months old, middle of this week. But just watching those games,
it's the best.
It is the best.
It is.
It really, because you don't really watch the game, you're watching your grandson.
Exactly.
I am not going to BS anybody unless he's not at bat or, my 4-year-old grandson, he just takes over their little soccer games. They're great. Playing without a goalie,
Oh, okay.
And those kids, he's like 4.5.
Yeah.
And if you've got a kid who's 4.5 playing with a kid who's 4, that's a huge difference. A kid who just turned 4 and a kid who's 4.5.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, as we were talking about speed, that's a huge difference in maturity. But he wears his headband and wristbands for some reason. Right. But anyway, I digress. Bottom line is, Ted Wolford had an impact on so many people.
So many kids.
But past that, extrapolate that is what I was trying to tell you, into the families.
That's it.
Well, son, let me tell you about this guy who coached me, or grandson. Let me tell you about this guy that coached me in lacrosse when I was in high school at Upper Arlington.
Yeah.
Sit on my knee. Let me tell you about the great Ted Wolford and what he imparted on me and stuff that made me mad when he said it to my face. But to this day, I repeat religiously because it makes sense. It summarizes a situation in a nutshell, little pieces of philosophy that probably Ted Wolford imbued on everybody, and probably may have been the first and last time it ever came out of his mouth, but it hit the point because he was a hell of a coach. You know how he was a hell of a coach? Because every great lacrosse player in the world didn't grow up in Upper Arlington, Ohio. But they played for 23 state championships in his 25 years and won 16 of those 23. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
That means he was able to teach the game and get the most out of people at the same time.
Another young man that was there was Max Schmidt, who was, as I think I've said on some broadcasts, he was a multi-year All-American at Maryland, and he was the best player on my son's teams during that era. And he was a defenseman, and he was a stop you in your tracks defenseman. And he was there today. And I'll tell you, you want to be an All-American goalie? Put Max Schmidt in front of you. And there were just so many players that they endeared themselves to you, or each had a moment in a game that stood out to you.
Yeah.
And I said to Max, there's a little chip in my brain, and you guys were in the Midwest tournament playing at Brother Rice, I think, in Michigan against Western Reserve out of Hudson. And Judd took a stick in the gut and went down right in front of the goal. And I'll never forget, Max turned to him with, there's a good crowd there. And he said, "Judd, get your ass up. We got to win this game." And it just, and he said to me, Mr. Hall, there were times when Judd said to me, "You're a wimp I'm a goalie. You get up. I mean, it would just be this back and forth, but it just was the drama of the moment. It was like, we can't win this without you. So get on your feet, kid. Good stuff.
The joy of sports, ladies and gentlemen. Some outcomes mean nothing, but they mean everything. They determine the mettle, mettle, that's in a man or a woman. And at the moment, do you rise and finish, or do you falter and watch the other guy enjoy the fruits of a victory? And it can be, like I said, it can be 4.5-year-olds playing soccer, playing t-ball, your 7-year-old grandson playing coach pitch and soccer, playing flag football. Owen totally enjoys that. It's I'm glad flag football has come along.
Yeah.
Seriously. Except I've always said when they're playing with pads on at 8 and 9, or 9 and 10, there's much less chance of them getting hurt than playing with pads on at 11 and 12. Because I watched my sons play youth football, peewee football. But the point is, man, I've really gotten into this flag football thing because I can see what Charles Bentley was talking about to me a couple of years ago on my podcast when we were talking about the rise of flag football and how the NFL has gotten behind approaching it. Because you want people to have a joy. You want parents to have a joy of being able to send their kid out there
and not worry,
not worry too much. You can still have collisions.
Sure,
people can get hurt doing anything. Skateboarding, oh my God, riding their motorized scooters on sidewalks.
For sure.
Oh my God, something's got to get done about that. But that's another story. It's out of hand at this point. I think Hilliard's trying to do something about that. But my point is to see them kind of get a joy for what in essence is really glorified 7-on-7 football, except you pull a flag. I think 7-on-7 is the same way. You pull a flag.
You do.
But then you move on if you're ready for the big leagues, meaning tackle football, which should never be ever confused with flag football.
No.
Except for the way you line up and the way you go hut, 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 hut.
But I think it inspires a lot of kids.
It inspires, but a lot of kids can play it and have fun doing it.
That's it.
And not have to run into Jimmy with already the BBIs ready to knock your block off.
Right.
And with a parent who's pushing him to do the same. Yeah. But the bottom line is I totally have enjoyed this past spring watching my grandsons play their sports. You can get joy out of watching any sport. Especially coming down to the nitty gritty when the wind's on the line. And like JT Poston, when he needed to roll in a putt, it looked pretty routine. Not till it goes,
yeah,
or whatever that sound is.
Yeah. Nothing's routine at 18.
Nothing's routine at 18.
That's
with
for sure.
And we're not going to call it a major victory, but an almost major victory on the line. Signature event, pretty major now.
There you go.
That's the lieutenant colonel of colonels. If colonels are major victories, lieutenant colonels are the signature events on the PGA Tour. I think you agree, right?
I do.
Because not only do you win, not only do you get ridiculous amount of points, FedEx points, to playoff-wise, you win $4 million. There
you go.
$4 million, right, whom you're splitting with no one because there's no ties. There's no tying.
No.
There's no tying in golf, and there's no tying in baseball.
Well, you can tie for second, third. Yeah.
No, but you play extra innings in baseball.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but of course, there's no tying. But my point is, I was playing off of Tom Hanks in.
No, you're exactly right.
In a Game of Their Own.
There's only one winner.
Yeah, there's no tying in baseball. There's no tying in golf. Let's go to the playoffs. And by the way, all these people, thousands of people, teed off at sometime this morning to play 36 holes on the longest day in golf. They call it, to try to make the final field for the U.S. Open. 156 players make the men's. It's not really men's. I think a woman could qualify for the men's U.S. Open if she had the game. But we'll see who makes that field. We'll see from local qualifiers if anybody local of substance makes the field.
I think it's nine spots between. No, that's not right.
Well, don't give me something that's not right.
No, this is right.
Between Springfield and Columbus?
Springfield and Columbus.
Yeah.
One has 5,
and where they're
4.
playing at the lakes, aren't they, in Columbus?
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll catch up a little bit on that on Wednesday, but we'll talk a little bit about High State football on Wednesday
And we can talk about Brendan Sorsby. You just go to a venue in your state.
You know what?
Don't matter.
You know what? Texas, the NCAA now ought to bring the NCAA ought to take this to the hilt.
That's what
the NCAA should bring suit now and say, no, you can't get an injunction from a local judge,
right?
And get to skirt our rules, especially with a gambling deal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if you're playing your 7th season, but especially with a gambling deal that you've admitted to, and you're going to skirt them just because they need you at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
I knew this would get you fired.
This is just more telling. We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But this is as much a moment in time as whether or not that save the NCAA from itself bill that's trying to go through Congress right now, whether it makes it or not. This is sort of a moment in time where an organization has a rule that you have adhered to as a member of that organization, meaning Texas Tech, and now you're going to fight it just for the right to have your $5 million quarterback get to play, even though I think he's admitted to it.
Yeah, he has.
Admitted to all these things, and it clearly says you can't do that in the rules or else you're disqualified. How are you, Texas Tech, with a straight face, fighting that?
It's preposterous.
And how are you, Brendan Sorsby, really fighting it instead of his parents going, "Uh-oh, you screwed up, kid."
Yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna have to sideline you.
Sorry about that. Hey, and we'll see what the NFL thinks about it if he ever gets that far. Right. I would think that'll be the next thing on his list. But if you don't fight this all the way to the end, make them spend money fighting it back, then I really have lost faith in you, NCAA. And I don't know if you can fight an injunction. I guess you probably can. I don't know why you can't.
Well, the NCAA has been awakened, but is it?
Yeah.
Are they awake enough to get in a fight?
But if you get enough delays, the delays could push it past the season.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's true.
But then you can make the penalties retrospective, or was it
active?
You know, yeah. In other words, in retro. Go back to penalize Texas Tech. You know, right on down the line. Who knows? I'm not going to get into legal stuff. We got to get Luke Fetterman in on that.
Is it true that you bought a $38,000 ticket to go to the Knicks game tonight?
No, that's not me.
Okay.
Just checking. That's not you either. I know that for a fact. But you know what?
What?
If you're worth $800 million or $1 billion,
why not?
Dude, that's like me griping about spending $250 on a ticket.
Yeah.
Which, you know, by the way, the Alabama at South Carolina game last year, which I bought my tickets in March or April. So I'd make sure I had 2 tickets for me and my baby brother, decent tickets, not great tickets.
Tony.
I could have gotten those 2 tickets for like 1/3 of what I paid for them if I'd waited the week of the game.
I know.
But you know what? What if Alabama's undefeated?
Right.
And playing like the team everybody thought it was at the end of the year, which it wasn't. It was a faux championship caliber team. But I digress. Bottom line is, if you want to be somewhere, make it happen. My name's Tim May. That's Clay Hall. Until Wednesday of this week, by the way, we may go on joint sabbatical the week after that, because I'm going to be at the U.S. Open, and I think we've been doing 3 of these shows a week for now.
Well,
10 months in a row.
Yeah, I could, but at the end of the week, I have a wedding, and it's my kid.
When this week or next?
Next week.
I said we're going to take a sabbatical.
Yeah.
You know what a sabbatical is? No, you don't. Yeah. You're in TV. You don't know the meaning of words. Sabbatical means we don't do it.
I'm all for
because I'm not going to be here on Monday and Wednesday.
I was going to make an effort, but if you, as the ruler of this domain,
no, you could do. Oh, if you want to, I was trying to give you.
No, you've let me out.
I'm the colonel. You're the lieutenant colonel. You're the signature event. I'm the main event. I'm the major.
You definitely are. So Thursday, I'm out of here because I got 3 functions.
You know what I found out? Not found out. I knew.
What?
I've got to go to a wedding the week of the Maryland game. This year, this coming season.
Maryland home. Yeah,
I think it's the Maryland game. It's in October.
Isn't that when they're gonna
in October
wear those crazy uniforms?
I don't know, but I'm good. I'm glad I'm not going to be there. I don't like the crazies. But that's
okay. Story for another day.
Yeah. But anyway, but I wouldn't mind missing that game. I should be back by Monday in time to, I will have watched the game probably 4 times by then because that's the way I am. But anyway, we're just piddling here. We're just piddling here. It's like we pulled the car off the side of the road and now we're piddling. You know what I'm saying?
You're working on the Studebaker?
No, we pulled the car off the side of the road and we're piddling.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah. When you got to go, you got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. So does Clay Hall. Until next time, we'll see you then.